And we've been joined by UConn coach T.J. Weist. The Huskies are 0-4 overall. They play their American Athletic Conference opener this Saturday. UConn was open this past weekend, did not have a game. They were in action this Saturday against USF at Rensselaer Field. It will be a noon Eastern Time start and will be the ESPN Regional American Athletic Conference game of the week. Coach, thanks for joining us on the call. Welcome to our weekly calls. If you could take a minute to tell us how the past couple of weeks have gone from your end and getting acclimated to things as the head coach, and tell us what you're looking forward to specifically when you face USF on Saturday, please.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a tough week for us last week, obviously going through transition, starting out 0-4 and not, reaching our expectations. And it's always tough going through change and deciding who's going to take over and how they're going to do it. So but our players have responded well. They've done a good job from that standpoint. This off week we had a good, 3 practices, gave my players a little bit of time off. And we're just looking forward this week to getting back playing football and going up against a good South Florida team that really did a good job against Cincinnati. So, our guys are excited. It's been tough, but our guys are excited to get back to football and really get a fresh start with just a different perspective with me as the head coach and our staff, our coaching staff, and, making some changes. So.
Take questions for Coach T.J. Weist, please. Hit *1 on your telephone to join the queue, and then the operator will introduce you.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to do something?
We're just putting the questions in the queue here. We'll get it to you right away here.
That makes sense.
And we can go ahead with the first question, please.
We'll take our first question from Joey Johnston of the Tampa Tribune.
Yes, TJ, could you talk about a little bit your familiarity and relationship with Willie Taggart?
Well, it's back a long time. I started out as his running back coach and receiver coach back in 2002 at Western Kentucky. He was the offensive coordinator the year we won the national championship, for Jack Harbaugh. So that was a great year for both of us to really have a special year, winning the championship at 1AA, and for Coach Harbaugh, and it was his last year, so it was a special time for both of us. And then we both continued on for the next couple of years as we worked together on offense before Willie moved on to Stanford with Jim, and he came back to be a head coach, and I moved on to Cincinnati. But we've been friends for a long time. We've worked together for a long time. We worked closely together, in the past, both being coordinators, and so we know each other well, and our families are close and everything. So it's going to be a good game. We've always had a great relationship, so we know each other's mentality. We're very similar from that standpoint.
And I know they were going through the same things that you've gone through, dropping their first 4 games. I know you're preparing for them, but did you get a little bit of happiness and satisfaction seeing him break through and get a win the other night?
Yeah, it's always, just from the relationship I have with him and the rest of the staff, he's got guys on his staff that we work together for a long time too. So, Walter Wells and Stu Holt and Eric Mathis and a lot of those guys, we're all together on that same Western Kentucky staff. So yeah, it was good to see those guys get a win. And they played tough football and got after it, and all those things. I'm just glad he got his win against those guys, so they don't feel like they got to get their win against us. So either way, it's good.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
And we'll take our next question from Tim Gaffney with LitchfieldCountySports.com.
Okay.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good.
How did Timmy Boyle looking this week?
He's looking good. He's done a good job. He's shown maturity. Physically, he's done a good job handling the offense and, getting the football off and handling all the schemes and everything. And the kid is, he's well beyond his years from a maturity standpoint. Now it's just a matter of getting him game experience, and you never know how a kid's going to react. You never know how players are going to react out there when there's pressure and under the fire. So that's going to be the case, and we're going to try to obviously put him in those situations in practice and try to get him to react this week to speed and pressure, and then go from there. But we've been pleased with him.
Your offensive line, what have you seen that you like, and have you changed a lot from what you were doing, or is it kind of like what you said the other day, would you want your guy to go across the line and just smack somebody in the mouth, win the one-on-one battles?
Yeah, everybody can ask that question. You know, the thing is, we just got to play better. You know, we're not reinventing anything. We just got to play better. Times we play
and how's
well.
the response been from the student base so far?
Well, they've been great. You know, I went out on campus the other day and talked to them, and I think they're just happy. It's kind of a fresh start for us. You know, and you know what, it would have been anyway with the conference. So there's not much of a different approach, but I think they've reacted well. You know, we talked about having the crowd we had at Michigan, where it was, you know, it was loud, it was exciting. Obviously, that was a national game, but that's the kind of support we need. You know, but
What's your injury report looking like with Phillips and Friend?
What's that?
Your injury report with Phillips and Friend, how they looking?
Well, you know, Friend looks good. He practiced a little bit the other day. He's still questionable. You know, he had a high ankle before, and I think that once we do get him back, hopefully we get him back for this game. Once we do get him back, he'll add some solidity to that offensive line, which is what we need. You know, if you're weak at one spot, that really weakens the whole thing. So, you know, we'll see if I can get him out to practice tomorrow. He'll still be questionable for us, but if I can get him back, that'll really help our offensive line. Phillips hasn't practiced yet. You know, he's again questionable. That hamstring's taking a little bit longer than what we thought, but I'll see. We'll take it day by day with him, and you know, he'll be a bonus if we can get him back.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Our next question comes from Jim Fuller with the New Haven Register.
Yes, TJ, good morning.
Good morning.
Just saw Andrew Adams' name on the two deep, and the original thought that he would be out till the second half of the year. Just can you talk about, you know, has he been back to practice? Do you expect him back this week? And just how much progress has he made from his injury?
Well, you know what, I would say he's more questionable more than anything. That he practiced the other day, but it was no contact. Still going to try to get out there. He was really just getting out there, getting loose. With no contact, and we don't know yet. He's come back pretty fast. He's come back pretty strong. He feels well. He hasn't really taken that first hit yet. So I think that it's just like anything else. We're not really going to depend on him. It'll be a bonus if we get him. But he did practice some in the non-contact period, so we'll kind of see. We'll kind of go from there.
He played a lot of football last year. When you get him back, how much of a lift do you think that can give to your secondary?
No, it's unbelievable because he's such a good leader. You know, the players respect him. And you got a guy like that who's got experience and a guy who really has played a lot of football, and people respect, guys back there respect him. He gives you that solid force that you need in the secondary. Got some young guys around him that he can say, okay, here's what we're going to get lined up. Let's go and recognize formations and those things. So he adds that maturity and that experience.
The final thing, is Graham Stewart kind of the same boat? It's certainly questionable. You hope to see him back in practice this week?
Yeah, he's questionable. Hope to see him back. Hasn't been back yet. Still really walking around in a boot, so as soon as we can get him back, we'll get him back. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Our next question comes from Ian Bethune with Sox and Dogs.
Hi, Coach. Actually, everybody asked my question, but what have you about the injuries? But what have you seen from the defense, knowing that you're an offensive guy?
Well, one thing we keep saying, because we've been so good in the last couple of years, we got to get back to UConn defense, which has a standard of playing physical, stopping, run game. So I think we've got to refocus this week. All of us, especially the defense. Taking the week off, or obviously having the week off, work on fundamentals and getting back to this solid football. Because defense, more than anything, more than offense, you know, one guy breaks down, everything's going to break down. So I think that's where we're starting to come together from a defensive standpoint.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
So, right. Good.
Our next question comes from Joey Johnston of the Tampa Tribune.
Yeah, TJ, from what you saw of USF's game the other night, what stood out to you what qualities do you see from that team that maybe allowed them to break through and get their first wins?
I think one thing, they're athletic. All across the board, offense and defense and everywhere. They're really good athletes. I've played South Florida for a long time being in this conference, and they've always really got really good, at some positions, great athletes. And I think they play with more confidence on Saturday. They came out and they played together, which I think the first couple games they struggled with, playing together, making bad decisions and turnovers. They had a lot of critical turnovers in the first 4 games, which cost them. And I think they were better with their turnovers here. They got some turnovers from Cincinnati and did a great job from that standpoint. And to me, that's what the difference is. And that's the difference with this team, is playing with more confidence, putting their athletes in better positions, and taking advantage of turnovers.
Thank you.
Okay.
Coach, well, thank you for the time this week. We look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
That's it, huh?
That's it. Quick and painless.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Again, that is UConn coach TJ Weist. The Huskies in action against USF Saturday at Register Field, noon Eastern Time, the ESPN Regional American Athletic Conference Game of the Week.